Recent research has shown that 92% of people will never achieve their goals. Will you be one of them? Most people focus on picking the best path, or they set too many goals, or they just fail to execute consistently. And last year, I was one of them. So here's what I've learned. There are three main components to actually setting goals and achieving them. And this comes down to one, actually setting the goal itself, two, planning and figuring out how you're going to get there, and then three, execution, actually taking the actual steps each day necessary to get from A to B. So first, let's talk about goal setting. This is where you determine your ideal end state or your final result that you want. When setting your goal, you need to determine your what. Whether you want to, say, get a six-pack, you want to make $1 million, or you want to go to Italy. You need to determine what it is that you actually want. So let's use the six-pack, for example. Say I want to get a six-pack. And next, you need to move on to your when. So if I want to get a six-pack, well, getting one in 2 weeks is probably not realistic. But getting one in 3 months from now, I think that's pretty achievable. So we've got our what and we've got our when, but now we need to go to our why. And this is the reasoning behind why you want to achieve your goal. So if I want to get a six-pack, maybe my reason behind it is because I want to feel good about myself, be proud and confident when looking in the mirror or when I have my shirt off in the summer. Planning is the next step that we need to take. This is your roadmap, how you're actually going to get there, how you're going to turn your hopes and dreams into actual reality. When creating your plan, you must take into consideration where you are in life. Your roadmap compared to other people's roadmap who want to get a six-pack is going to look drastically different. And this is just because you have a different starting point than they do. So when setting your goals, take a look around at your life and the context of it and see where you need to go. Additionally, the best way to do this is to actually work backwards from your goal. So for example, say I want to get a six-pack in the next 3 months, and I am currently 170 pounds and I'll need to cut down to 155 pounds. Well, I know that I have about 12 weeks to achieve this goal. And if I need to lose 15 pounds, I need to lose approximately just over a pound a week. So by looking at my calories and cutting them to make sure I'm 500 below my maintenance calories each day, I can effectively achieve this goal within my time span. While planning how you're going to get to your goal, it's important to make sure that you're realistic. For example, with the weight loss goal, say my goal was to ride a bike for 4 hours each day. In theory, this works because it increases my calories expenditure and puts me in a caloric deficit, or helps to. But realistically, I'm not actually going to follow up with riding my bike for 4 hours a day. That's just very unlikely. However, a smaller, more manageable goal, such as 45 minutes, 3 days a week, is super attainable. Lastly, we're moving on to execution, which is simply just making sure you wake up each day and do the actionable steps that you need to get from point A to point B. To make sure that you don't fail at the execution phase like 90% of other people, there are 3 key main steps that we can take to get over this hurdle. So the first step is to track our execution. For fat loss example, this would include counting my calories and making sure I'm in a deficit, weighing in each morning and checking my body fat percentage. This would also include things like tracking my workouts, my reps, my sets, my heart rate zone when I'm in cardio, things like that. Just by being able to see the numbers actually helps us to conceptualize our progress, to see if we need to make adjustments to keep moving forward. Additionally, we can set reminders. Most people don't achieve their goals throughout the year simply because they just forget about them. We can do this by reviewing our goals daily. If you have a little paragraph or a list that includes your what, your when, and your why. Or if you like to do weekly meetings with yourself to review your goals and your progress each week to make sure you're taking the steps necessary to get to where you want to be. You can also track your progress, as I mentioned in the previous step, or book time in your calendar in advance to make sure you get that time scheduled in. Or you can create a vision board or wallpaper and put it on your phone. And the third principle to implement is accountability, as we tend to often break promises when we just keep them to ourselves. To help overcome this, we can make it public by telling friends and family, or maybe posting it on social media. Each time that you see these people or post on social media, you will be reminded about your goals, and you won't want to be judged for not achieving them or making progress. Another way to make sure you stay accountable is to put something at stake or make a bet. For example, when I wanted to get abs, I made a bet with my dad and put some money on the line to achieve that goal. And if I didn't, I would have had to pay him. And I didn't want to lose this bet, so this continued to push me to actually get there and achieve it. You could also do other things such as creating some sort of punishment for not achieving your goal, or facing a fear such as skydiving or something. Or you could maybe have some fun with it and let your friend control your life for 24 hours or something. Out of all the goals that I achieved and didn't achieve last year, the difference between them was 1, tracking, 2, accountability, and 3, reminders. You now have all the information you need to succeed in 2026. The only thing that stands between you and where you want to be is those little actionable steps that you need to take each day. With all that said, I will be praying for you in the new year, and may God bless you along your way.